Thank you all for coming. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Georgia Warnke, and I'm director of the Center for Ideas in Society and the host, which is the host of this conference, as you know. Before we get started, I want to thank Catherine Henshaw for doing all the work for this conference, and Renee de Guerra, who is outside and has also put in a lot of work and is now shivering in the cold, or what counts to us Southern Californians as cold.
This is like a walk on the beach.
So, as you know, this conference is the culmination of a 2-year grant from the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation, and it's also part of the Center's 30th year anniversary year-long celebration. If you're not subscribed to our newsletter and you don't go to our website, you may have missed many of the entries, but you can go there now and look at them. But we've been putting up entries about the 30 years of the Center with pictures. So if you go on the Center website, you can see our first post, which was about, I think, a conference, one of the first conferences the Center had, and you will see it with all its shrimp, its ice sculptures, and even swimming pools. We don't have those anymore, but we do our best. We're glad you're all here, as today will be featuring the results of your work in the seminars. And today we're featuring the work of the graduate students, and we'll also have a panel of undergraduates. So I therefore, see, aren't I being very formal? I therefore want to introduce your dean, the dean of the graduate division, who will welcome you. Dean Bowler, if you didn't know this, received his PhD from Washington University in St. Louis and joined the UCR faculty in 1989. His work looks at electoral systems and voting behavior and examines the relationship between institutional arrangements and voter choice in a variety of settings, ranging from the Republic of Ireland to California's initiative process. He's the author of Demanding Choices, Opinion Voting, and Direct Democracy with Todd Donovan, and has also published extensively in the American Political Science Review, American Journal of Political Science, the Journal of Politics, and the American Politics Quarterly. So, here's your dean.
So I'm supposed to say something deanly. Apart from thanking Georgia and Catherine and Renee for doing these events, you may not have mentioned that you may not have caught that there were pictures of shrimp a lot. So in the old days, when I first came, we used to call the Center for Ideas in Society the Shrimp Center, because there was always like a big bowl of shrimp at any event. And that seemed to be the main purpose of the center, was to feed shrimp to faculty. And so there's been a big improvement in the past few years, thanks to Professor Warnke, and Catherine and Renee, in terms of how the center is serving the intellectual interests of the campus. And in particular, I think, helping the intellectual development of graduate students. That's a new, relatively new, but very welcome direction. So I think, just as a faculty member on campus, I want to thank the Center for Ideas in Society for doing away with the shrimp.
It's a culinary disaster, though.
Is it? Really? Were you
so,
big on the
compared
shrimp?
to
Is that?
I don't eat shrimp, so I don't know.
Yeah. Is that right?
No, it's great, actually.
Yeah, it's healthier too, all that shrimp. Anyway. So I'm supposed to say something deanly, I suppose, and there's always this performance bit involved, and so I was trying to think of what could I usefully say in under 5 minutes, and I couldn't think of anything useful to say, but I am just going to talk for 5 minutes. One of the things is quite interesting to me is that universities have a kind of like an Olympics thing. You know, when you watch the Olympics and you have the athletes who run fast, and you have the weightlifters who lift heavy things, and you have the jumpers who jump, and you see what humans can do in this big range of things. And often there's this physicality to it. People look very different from whether we're talking about gymnasts or weightlifters or whatever. But you get the whole sweep of the idea of what people can do. And that's what these conferences are like, and that's what universities are like, is that intellectualism, not a dirty word, a good word to be intellectuals, intellectuals have this imaginative capacity. It's sort of what the human brain can do and imagine and create across a wide range of things. And it's very interesting and exciting to say, well, you've seen the world in this very different way. That's kind of interesting. And it strikes me, and I'm not sure if this is right, I've got 4 minutes left, don't worry, I'm watching the clock, it won't take long. It strikes me that one of the things is, at this point, it's especially important for grad students, because during grad school, you move from being readers to being read. You move from just hitting the books, swatting hard the day before the exam, cramming, doing an all-nighter, just reading what other people say, to saying something yourself and having other people read your work and respond to it and maybe learn it. And that's so exciting. That's such an exciting thing to do, is that it's your voice in the world there, your creativity out there in the world. But it strikes me that there are a couple of things that go on, and I'm just going to make these couple of points and then finish about doing this. One is, you will get it wrong. Sorry, you'll make mistakes as you do this, and some of you may even make mistakes in your presentation. Stephen. Yeah, I was looking at it. Some of you may get it wrong, but that's okay. I mean, you've seen the poster. If we knew what the answers were, they wouldn't call it research. Have you seen this one? Wait, I'm asking. Have you seen this poster? If we knew what the answer was, they would not call it research.
That's a good point.
Isn't it a good point? We're going to make mistakes, and you just acknowledge that and go in with these idea that some of it is going to be wrong, some of it you're going to learn to it. I've noticed, in fact, my colleagues in the humanities have a very good way of dealing with it, of basically saying when there's a mistake, it's no longer a bug, it's a feature. They go, oh, yes, of course, well, we can draw from this lessons of failure, and they're very good at this. But there will be things that won't go right. It's okay. It happens to everybody. The other thing that happens to everybody, and I feel as though I should say, because this has come up a lot in grad division, is this idea of imposter syndrome. Sometimes that when you get things wrong, you feel as though, gosh, maybe this isn't for me. Everybody has imposter syndrome. It's fine. But I think it's fine that you feel this way. I was trying to think about this before. It's okay that that sometimes you feel as you don't fit. It's okay to have that moment of self-reflection and self-criticism. I think that's fine. I mean, if you didn't have it, you'd be like, well, picking the name of your famous politician in American politics right now, you'd be a psychopath if you didn't have any kind of doubts about what you did. We want you to be thoughtful. We want you to be critical. So it's good to have some sense of, it's good to have those flashes of imposter syndrome. We all have them. Just don't overdo it. That was my second point. My third and last point of this is to talk about criticism. You're going to get criticized. Everybody gets criticized. Grad school teaches you to be critics. And you get critics all the time. I'm sorry, I'm dealing with it now. So I'm trying to revise a paper. The reviews of the paper, have you sent papers out yet for publication? Yeah, you get a couple of different kind of reviews. You get flavor A, which is that I don't believe this. Flavor B is, well, we knew this anyway. This time, this paper, I've got the reviewer who's saying both things in the same review, which is wonderful of that person. And then, or now, in fact, on this paper, I've got flavor C, which is that why would you think that to begin with? Which is a new flavor for me. So you do get this criticism. The criticism is part of the job. It makes the arguments better. Don't take it personally. But what I think that those three things together mean is that when it's your turn to criticize, and when it's your turn to talk about each other's work, when it's turn to talk about the other's work, don't always look for what's wrong with a piece. Sometimes look for what's right in a piece too. Be constructively critical, because chances are the person who's writing the thing that you're reading also had that flash of imposter syndrome, also had stuff that didn't go right. They're doing the same sorts of struggles you're doing. And then there's nothing else that I've learned is that knowledge creation and creativity is a collective and social act. So be nice to the community you're part of. Be nice, but have fun too. And I hope you have fun and learn stuff during the course of today. 5 minutes. I'm done.
Right. Can I comment?
Yeah. Comments?
A comment. I'm going to comment on this about the word research.
Yeah.
So I used to teach at Notre Dame, and I was on a committee once, and a professor of English said, you know, to get promotion, you have to do research. But I don't do research, I do scholarship. They shouldn't call it research. And then I, being in philosophy, thought, what the hell do I do? It's not exactly research. It's not exactly scholarship. I don't know. You think about stuff.
We think, yeah, that's right.
my
In England,
comment.
we don't call it philosophy, we call it thinking. That's it. Have a good day.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Is Alejandra here?
So, so I just want to say a few things about the day before we get started. The day will consist of 4 sessions, 3 in which graduate students, you, will be presenting your work, and 1 undergraduate panel. Each session will be moderated by faculty members who participated in the seminars that we had over the course of the past 2 years. And then we're going to close the day with a keynote address by Professor Muhammad Ali of the Religious Studies Department and a reception. Tomorrow, as you know, the faculty will be presenting their research, so you should turn out to boo and hiss at them. And tomorrow's sessions will end with a keynote at the Alumni and Visitors Center by Thomas Frank, who you may know wrote What's the Matter with Kansas and Listen Liberal. You should definitely come to that, bring your friends. There'll be a reception after that too, and I know graduate students are always hungry, so please come to that. You know where the restrooms are, they're around the corner. You have comment cards at your seats. So either if you want, please fill those out. If you want to just go online, you can do that as well.